I should have known the moment I saw the name tag. ATM with wrinkles wasn't a joke, it was an autopsy of my family's soul. I should have known the moment I saw the name tag. It wasn't a joke, it was a knife in my back. My name is Eleanor Vance. I'm 68 years old, a retired literature professor. Today was my granddaughter Chloe's wedding. I wore my favorite blue dress, the one Robert always said made my eyes sparkle. I even put on the perfume he gave me for our last anniversary before cancer took him. 3 years ago, the wedding at St. Mark's Church was beautiful. Chloe looked like an angel in her lace gown. My son Marcus walked her down the aisle, beaming, like he'd won the lottery. His wife Tiffany, my daughter-in-law, dabbed her eyes with a silk handkerchief. For a moment, I almost believed we were a real family. Then came the reception. I walked into the ballroom of the Westbrook Hotel. A young woman smiled at me behind the check-in table. "Here you are, Mrs. Vance," she said, handing me a name tag. I expected to see Eleanor Vance, grandmother of the bride. Instead, it said, "The Bank of Grandma, open for withdrawals." My hands went cold. "This must be a mistake," I said, my voice shaking. The young woman leaned over, her eyes widened. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me find another one." "No," I said quickly. I didn't want to cause a scene at Chloe's wedding. I pinned that awful tag right over my heart. As I walked into the ballroom, cheeks burning, I overheard 2 women whispering, "Did you see Eleanor's name tag?" One snickered. Tiffany said it was hilarious. Tiffany, my daughter-in-law, she'd planned this. Marcus spotted me and waved. "Mom, come meet the groom's parents." He put his arm around my shoulders. "Everyone, this is my mom. She's paying for the whole wedding." The groom's parents smiled politely, but I saw the pity in their eyes. I wanted to disappear. That's when I remembered Robert's last words. To me, we were sitting in our garden, holding hands. His voice was weak, but his eyes were fierce. "Ellie, promise me something," he said. "Protect our legacy. Not the money, the meaning. Don't let them turn love into a transaction." Robert built an empire. He started with nothing, just a beat-up old car and big dreams. By the time he died, he owned tech companies, buildings, and a secret trust worth millions. He left it all to me because he trusted me to do what was right. But Marcus and Tiffany only saw dollar signs. Marcus was 45, a failed entrepreneur who'd burned through 3 businesses. Tiffany was 42, a luxury influencer who spent money like it was water. And Chloe, my sweet 23-year-old granddaughter. She'd become just like them. I stood by the window, watching Marcus laugh with his friends. He raised his glass. "To my mom," he shouted. "The best ATM in town." The room erupted in laughter. My stomach twisted. That night, back in my hotel room, I stared at that name tag, the Bank of Grandma. I thought about all the money I'd given them over the years. $50,000 for Marcus's failed crypto startup. $30,000 for Tiffany's branding, which meant designer clothes and lip fillers. $100,000 for Chloe's college fund. She dropped out after 1 semester. I thought about Robert's warning. Don't let them turn love into a transaction. But they already had. I pinned that name tag to my dress like a badge. Let them see what they'd created. Let them see the truth. As I fell asleep, I made a promise to myself. This wasn't just about money anymore. It was about respect. It was about legacy. And I would make them regret the day they treated me like a walking wallet. Tomorrow, the real wedding gift would begin. The morning after the wedding, I sat at my kitchen table. That awful name tag, the Bank of Grandma, stared back at me. I pinned it to a corkboard like a warning. 3 years. That's how long Marcus and Tiffany had been treating me like their personal ATM. I needed to see the damage. So I opened Robert's old desk drawer and pulled out his leather-bound ledger. He'd taught me to track every penny. Now I'd track theirs. I made coffee and started digging. My hands shook as I flipped through bank statements and canceled checks. Here's what I found. Marcus's business loans, $50,000 for his crypto startup, failed in 6 months. $75,000 for a sports car. He called it a networking tool. $40,000 for an apartment in the city, his office, but his mistress lived there. Tiffany's brand investments, $30,000 for designer dresses. She wore them once for Instagram. $25,000 for lip fillers and Botox. To stay competitive, she said. $60,000 for a Bali villa. For content creation, she lied. She posted one video, Chloe's education fund, $100,000 for college. She dropped out after one semester. $20,000 for an influencer bootcamp. Now she posts selfies with SMOOTHIES. Total, $487,000. I stared at the numbers. Robert had built an empire from nothing. He'd left me enough to live comfortably for 10 lifetimes, but this was theft disguised as love. My phone rang. It was Marcus. Mom, Tiffany and I were talking. You should downsize. That house is too big for one person. I froze. What are you saying? Sunrise Acres has lovely apartments. We'll help you sell your place. The market's hot right now. Sunrise Acres. That's where they put old people who couldn't take care of themselves. I was 68, not 98. I'm not selling my house. Marcus, don't be difficult. We're thinking of your safety. Safety, he wanted my house. The house where Robert and I raised Marcus. The house with our garden, our memories, our life. After we hung up, I called Robert's lawyer, Mr. Henderson. He'd handled Robert's will. I needed answers. His office was downtown, in a building with marble floors. Mr. Henderson was old, like me. He offered me tea. Mrs. Vance said, Robert added something to his will. A codicil. A special rule. What kind of rule? He slid a paper across his desk. It was in Robert's handwriting. Any descendant who publicly humiliates Eleanor forfeits their inheritance. Proof required. My breath caught. What counts as humiliation? Mr. Henderson adjusted his glasses. Disrespect, greed, trying to control your money or your home. The name tag at the wedding. That qualifies. So does trying to force you out of your house. I thought of Marcus's call, of Tiffany's smirk, of Chloe's silence. Who decides if it happened? I asked. You do, and if you say yes, they lose everything. Their share goes to you, or to whoever you choose. Everything. Robert's empire. The tech companies. The buildings. The trust, all gone for Marcus and Tiffany. Did Robert know? Did he know they'd do this? Mr. Henderson nodded. He said, Ellie's kind. Too kind. They'll take advantage. He wanted to protect you. I left his office with a copy of the codicil in my purse. I felt lighter, stronger, but I needed proof. Marcus and Tiffany were smart. They'd deny everything. That's when I remembered Robert's study. He'd hidden cameras there. Old ones, from his security business. Still worked. I drove home and went straight to Robert's desk. In the bottom drawer, under a stack of books, I found them. 4 tiny cameras. No bigger than a button. I placed one in the living room, another in the kitchen, one in the hallway. The last I put it in my bedroom. If Marcus came demanding money again, I'd catch him. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Robert. He'd built his empire with hard work and honesty. Marcus and Tiffany were tearing it down with greed. I looked at the corkboard, the name tag, the ledger, the codicil. They thought I was just an old lady. A bank. They were wrong. I bought a spy pen the next day. It looked like a regular pen, but it recorded audio and video. I clipped it to my purse. Marcus called again. Mom, about Sunrise Acres. I'll think about it. I said. Great. Tiffany and I will come over Sunday. We'll discuss it. I smiled into the phone. I'll be here. I hung up and tested the spy pen. A red light blinked. Perfect. Let them come. Let them talk. Let them dig their own graves. I pinned the spy pen to my dress, right next to my heart. Robert used to say, the truth always comes out, Ellie. He was right. And when it did, it would burn them all. My 69th birthday should have been quiet. Just me, a book, and Robert's favorite chocolate cake. But Marcus insisted on a family dinner. We need to celebrate you, Mom, he said. I knew what he really wanted. A chance to corner me. I wore red. Robert always said red looked like strengths. I set the dining room table with our good china. The cameras were hidden, one in the flower arrangement, one behind the curtain, one in the bookshelf. My spy pen was in my pocket. Marcus and Tiffany arrived first. Tiffany wore a dress that cost more than my monthly groceries. Marcus carried a bottle of expensive wine. For the birthday girl, he said, kissing the air next to my cheek. Chloe came later, dragging her feet. She barely looked at me. Happy birthday, Grandma, she mumbled. We sat down. I served the soup. Marcus cleared his throat. Mom, Tiffany and I have been talking. I sipped my water. Waited. You're not getting any younger, Marcus said. This house is too big. The stairs, the garden, it's dangerous. Tiffany nodded. We found the perfect place. Sunrise Acres. They have nurses, activities, you'll be safe. I put my spoon down. I'm not moving. Marcus leaned forward. His eyes were cold. It's not a request, Mom. We're selling this house. The money will fund Chloe's fashion line. Chloe's head snapped up. What? I thought quiet, Tiffany snapped. This is for your future. I stood up. My hands didn't shake. This is my house, my life. You don't get to decide. Marcus laughed. Oh, we do. We'll declare you incompetent. A doctor will say, you can't manage your own affairs. Then we'll take over. Tiffany smiled. It's for your own good. That's when I knew. It was time. I walked to the wall. I pressed a button on my phone. The lights dimmed. A projector whirred to life. On the wall, a video played. First clip. Marcus in my study. He sat at Robert's desk, forging my signature on a paper. The title flashed. Reverse mortgage application. Marcus's face went white. Turn that off. But I didn't. Next clip. Tiffany in my bedroom. She opened my jewelry box. She pulled out Robert's mother's pearl necklace. Eleanor won't miss this, she said. She put it in her purse. Tiffany gasped. That's not last clip. Chloe and her friends in my garden. Chloe laughed. Grandpa's money is our birthright, she said. Grandma's just keeping it warm for us. The room went silent. Chloe buried her face in her hands. Marcus stood up, knocking his chair over. You spied on us. You're senile. We'll lock you up. He lunged at me. His hand grabbed my arm. Pain shot through my wrist, but I didn't flinch. I looked him in the eye. Robert knew you'd do this. He knew you'd steal, lie, humiliate me. I pulled a paper from my pocket. The codicil. Robert added this to his will. I said, my voice, steady, it says, any descendant who publicly humiliates me loses their inheritance. All of it. Marcus stared at the paper. That's not real. Oh, it's real, I said. And you just gave me all the proof I need. Tiffany started crying. No, please, that money is ours. Chloe looked up. Tears streamed down her face. Grandma, I'm sorry. I didn't save it, I said. You laughed while they stole from me. You're no better. Marcus's face twisted. You'll regret this. We'll fight it in court. We'll ruin you. I smiled. Robert's lawyer has the original codicil and I have videos. Lots of videos. I pointed to the cameras. Smile, Marcus. You're on candid camera. He looked at the hidden lenses. His shoulders slumped. Defeated, Tiffany grabbed his arm. We need to go. Now. They left without another word. Chloe stayed. Grandma, I said. I don't want to see you right now. She cried all the way to the door. I sat down at the table. Alone. The soup was cold. The cake untouched, but I felt warm. Strong. Robert used to say, the truth always comes out, Ellie. He was right. And now, the truth would set me free. I picked up my phone. I called Mr. Henderson. It's time, I said. Enforce the codicil. I looked at the empty chairs, the broken plates, the lies exposed. This wasn't just a birthday dinner. It was their last supper, and I was just getting started. The next morning, my doorbell rang at 8 a.m. sharp. It was Mr. Henderson, Robert's lawyer. He carried a briefcase and a grim expression. They're already calling, he said, stepping inside. Marcus left me 6 voicemails. Tiffany threatened. Tusu, I poured him coffee. Let them. Mr. Henderson opened his briefcase. He spread papers on my dining room table, the same table Marcus had overturned last night. First, we need proof, he said. Do you have the videos? I nodded. I handed him a USB drive. Everything. Marcus, forging my signature. Tiffany stealing my jewelry. Chloe laughing about my money. He plugged it into his laptop. As he watched, his frown deepened. This is worse than Robert imagined. Worse, I said. They didn't just take your money, Eleanor. They tried to take your dignity, your home, your independence. He pulled out a document. The codicil is clear. Any descendant who publicly humiliates you forfeits their share of Robert's estate. What does that mean? I asked. It means Marcus and Tiffany get nothing. Zero. Their share of the trust, the properties, the stock's all gone. My breath caught. Everything. Everything. Robert left them $8 million combined. Now it's yours. Or you can give it to someone else. I thought of Chloe. She'd been cruel, but she was young. Maybe. No, not yet. Keep it for now, I said. I'll decide later. Mr. Henderson nodded. I'll serve them the papers today. They have 30 days to appeal. But with this evidence, he tapped the USB drive. They won't win. He left at noon. An hour later, my phone rang. It was Marcus. What did you do? He screamed. Mr. Henderson just served us papers. You're taking everything. I'm taking back what's mine, I said calmly. This is illegal. We'll fight it. We'll ruin you. Good luck with that, I said. I have videos. Lots of videos. He hung up. I didn't care. 2 days later, Tiffany showed up at my door. Her eyes were red, her makeup smudged. She looked like she hadn't slept. Eleanor, please, she begged. This is a mistake. We love you. I didn't invite her in. I stood in the doorway, blocking her path. Love, I said. You called me an ATM. You stole my jewelry. You tried to throw me in a nursing home. Tiffany's face crumpled. We were wrong. We're sorry. Sorry doesn't fix it, I said. Robert gave you chances. He gave you money. He gave you love. You threw it all away. She grabbed my hands. Her fingers were cold. Please, Eleanor. We have nothing now? The bank repossessed Marcus's car. Our landlord evicted us. We're living in a motel. I pulled my hands away. You should have thought of that before you treated me like a wallet. Tiffany started crying. Big, ugly sobs. You're destroying us. No, I said. You destroyed yourselves. I closed the door. I listened to her cry on my porch for 5 minutes before she finally left. The next week, the story broke. A local news site ran the headline, Air Conditional, Wealthy Widow Cuts Off Greedy Family After Humiliation. It went viral. Comments flooded. Go Eleanor. They deserved it. I wish my grandma had your spine. Name that bookstore chapter 1 because their story ended. Marcus called again. This time, he was crying. Mom, please, the news. Everyone knows. We can't show our faces. Good, I said. Tiffany left me, he choked out. She took what was left of our money and moved to Florida. She said I'm a loser. I didn't feel sorry for him. You are. He hung up. I didn't hear from him again. Chloe called a week later. She sounded different, quiet, sad. Grandma, she said. Can I see you? I almost said no. But then I remembered Robert. He always believed in second chances. Come over, I said. She arrived, wearing jeans and a plain t-shirt, no makeup, no designer bag. She looked like a normal, 23-year-old. I'm sorry, she said, staring at her hands. For everything, the name tag, the video, not stopping them. Why now? I asked. Because I saw the news, she said. I saw what they did to you, and I realized. I was just like them. Tears filled her eyes. I don't want to be like them, Grandma. I want to be better. I studied her face. She looked like Robert when he was young. The same eyes, the same hope. Prove it, I said. How? I opened Robert's old ledger. I turned to a blank page. Start here. Write down every dollar you owe me. Every lie you told. Every time you chose greed over love. Chloe picked up a pen. Her hand shook. But she started writing. As she wrote, I made a decision. Mr. Henderson said I can give part of the inheritance to someone who deserves it, I said. Someone who shows respect. Chloe looked up. Me, maybe, I said, but not yet. First, you need to learn what Robert knew. What's that? Money doesn't make you rich, I said. Character does. Chloe nodded. She kept writing. That night, I sat in Robert's study. I looked at his picture on the wall. He was smiling, the way he always did when he talked about the future. They're getting what they deserve, Robert, I whispered. But Chloe, she might be different. I picked up the codicil. I folded it neatly and put it back in the drawer. The reckoning was over. But the rebuilding, that was just beginning. 6 months passed like a turning page. The news about Marcus and Tiffany faded, but my life was just beginning. I sold Marcus's sports car. The money funded a small bookstore downtown. I called it Chapter 1. Robert would have loved the name. Chloe showed up every day at 9 a.m. She wore an apron and stacked books. No more designer purses. No more complaining. People keep asking about the name, she said one morning, dusting a shelf. Why Chapter 1? I smiled. Because every end is a new beginning. She nodded. Like us. Chloe was changing. She apologized to the customers when she made mistakes. She saved her tips to buy a used laptop. She even started a book club for teens. One afternoon, a reporter came to interview me. "You're famous, Eleanor," she said. "The grandma who fought back." I shook my head. "I'm not famous, I'm just done being used." The reporter asked about Marcus and Tiffany. I told her the truth. Marcus lost everything. The bank took his apartment. His business partners sued him for fraud. Last I heard, he was working at a car wash. Tiffany moved to Florida with a man she met online. He took her money and disappeared. She called me once, crying. "I have nothing, Eleanor, you have a choice," I said. "Be better, or keep being this." She hung up. I haven't heard from her since. The reporter wrote a story. It went viral again. People started calling the bookstore the Phoenix Bookstore. Because I rose from the ashes, I didn't feel like a phoenix. I felt like Eleanor, a woman who finally remembered her worth. Then Chloe surprised me. She handed me a folder. "What's this?" I asked. "Business plans," she said. "For the bookstore. I want to expand." I opened it. She'd drawn sketches, a coffee corner, a kids section, a small stage for readings. "It's a lot of work," I said. "I know," she said, "but I want to do it right. No shortcuts, no stealing." Tears filled my eyes. "Robert would be proud." Chloe hugged me. "I want to make you proud too." That night, I couldn't sleep. I walked to Robert's study. His desk was neat now. Chloe organized it. I opened his old journal. He wrote, "Ellie, if they ever hurt you, remember this. Money can be replaced. Dignity can't." He was right. The next morning, I called Mr. Henderson. "I want to change my will," I said. "Of course," he said. "What are your wishes?" "I want to leave the bookstore to Chloe. And the rest of Robert's money. I want to start a fund." "What kind of fund?" "For women like me," I said. "Women who've been used, who need help starting over." Mr. Henderson didn't say anything for a moment. Then he said, "Robert would love that." I smiled. "I know." A week later, a woman came to the bookstore. She held a newspaper clipping about me. "Are you Eleanor Vance?" she asked. "I am. My husband left me with nothing," she said, her voice shaking. "He sold our house, took my savings. I saw your story. I thought, maybe you could help." I looked at Chloe. She was watching us, her eyes wide. "Come in," I said. "Let's talk." That's how the legacy grant started. With one woman, then another. Then dozens. I used Robert's money to help them. Not with handouts. With loans. With training. With the one thing Marcus and Tiffany never got. A chance to earn back their respect. Chloe ran the grant program. She met with applicants. She reviewed their business plans. She cried with them when they told their stories. One day, she came to me, holding a check. "What's this?" I asked. "My first payment," she said. "For the bookstore. I'm paying you back." I pushed the check away. "Keep it. Grow the business." "But no buts," I said. "This is your chapter now. Write it well." She hugged me. "I love you, Grandma." "I love you too," I said. "Now go sell some books." I watched her walk to the front counter. She greeted a customer with a real smile. Not a fake Instagram smile. A real one. That's when I knew. Robert's legacy wasn't the money. It was this. The bookstore. The grants. Chloe. I picked up a book from the shelf. The Phoenix and the Carpet. I opened it. On the first page, someone had written, "To Eleanor. Thank you for showing us how to rise." I closed the book. I held it to my chest. The fire had burned Marcus and Tiffany to ashes. But from those ashes, something beautiful grew. Something new. Something real. And that I thought was the best revenge of all. 1 year later, I stood in the doorway of Chapter 1. Sunlight streamed through the tall windows, making the dust motes dance. Shelves of books lined the walls. And in the children's corner, a mural I'd painted showed a forest with hidden fairies. Chloe stood behind the counter, ringing up a customer. She wore a simple blue dress, no labels, no logos, just Chloe. "Grandma," she called, waving. "Come meet Mrs. Gable." An elderly woman smiled at me. "Eleanor, your granddaughter's an angel?" She helped me apply for the legacy grant. The legacy grant. That's what we called Robert's money now. It helped women like Mrs. Gable, women who'd been used, cheated, or left with nothing. Chloe ran the program. She met applicants, reviewed their plans, and cried with them when they shared their stories. "Thank you," Mrs. Gable said, squeezing my hand. You gave me hope. I smiled. Robert would be glad. After she left, Chloe turned to me. Guess what? Mark proposed. Mark was Chloe's boyfriend. He taught math at the high school and loved books almost as much as she did. When's the wedding? I asked. Next spring. Small. Just family. I noticed her ring a simple gold band. No, diamond. Chloe shook her head. Mark said, why spend money on rocks when we could buy books? I laughed. I like him. As we talked, the bell over the door jingled. Jennifer walked in, pushing a stroller. Baby Roberta, named after Robert, slept inside, her tiny fists curled like rosebuds. Grandma, Jennifer said, hugging me. I didn't know you'd be here. Jennifer had changed to after Marcus and Tiffany lost everything. She'd stopped calling them Mom and Dad and started calling them Marcus and Tiffany. She worked at a bakery now. Saved her money. Built a life Mark could be proud of. Chloe told me you're expanding the bookstore, Jennifer said. Chloe nodded. Upstairs, we're making apartments for writers in residence. I'd sold Marcus's penthouse to fund it. The money that once bought his mistress's apartment now bought dreams for strangers. Can I help? Jennifer asked. Always, Chloe said. Later, as I sat in the garden behind the bookstore, I thought about Robert. He'd loved this garden. We'd planted roses here, the same ones that now bloomed along the fence. I heard footsteps. Jennifer joined me, holding baby Roberta. She's got Grandpa's eyes, she said softly. Yes, I whispered. She does. Jennifer hesitated. Have you heard from Marcus? Once, I said. He called from prison, asked for money. I said no. Marcus had been arrested for fraud. He'd tried to sell Robert's old company using forged documents. The judge gave him 5 years. Tiffany visited him once. Then she moved to Arizona with a man she met online. Last I heard, she worked as a cashier at a gas station. Do you miss them? Jennifer asked. I looked at the roses. Their petals glowed pink in the sunset. I missed the family we could have been, I said, not the one they chose to be. Jennifer nodded. She understood. That night, I couldn't sleep. I drove to the cemetery. Robert's grave was simple, just a stone under an oak tree. I sat beside it, the grass cool beneath me. We did it, Robert, I whispered. The bookstore's thriving. Chloe's happy. Jennifer's strong. Your money's helping people. A breeze rustled the leaves. It sounded like Robert's laugh. I thought about the name tag. The Bank of Grandma. It was in a museum now. Part of an exhibit called Stories of Survival. Next to it was a photo of Chapter 1. The curator had called it a testament to resilience. I smiled. Robert would have hated the attention, but he'd have loved the reason. The next morning, Chloe found me in the garden, pruning roses. You're up early, she said. Old habits, I said. She handed me a cup of tea. Mrs. Gable's grant was approved. She's opening a bakery. Good, I said. She makes excellent scones. Chloe laughed. Then she grew serious. Grandma, thank you for everything. I patted her hand. You earned it, sweetheart. You chose to be better. As we walked back to the bookstore, I saw it clearly. This was Robert's legacy. Not the money, not the companies, but this people, helping people. Kindness growing like roses. The bell over the door jingled as we entered. A little girl ran to the children's section, her mother following. Is this the bookstore with the fairy mural? The girl asked. Chloe beamed. It sure is. I watched them, a new chapter beginning. And I knew, with certainty, deeper than bone, the best revenge wasn't destroying Marcus and Tiffany, it was building something they could never touch. Something real. Something lasting. Something that proved, once and for all, love isn't a transaction, it's a legacy, and mine was just getting started.